Hey guys, it's Between Nerds, where a bunch of nerds make fun of nerds. Featuring
Aldo Mendez
and Drew Elias. So, we, at the forefront of this episode, we are going to be, just wanted to be explicit in that we are going to be talking about Space Dandy. And we are watching Hunter x Hunter next week. But Aldo was yelling at me that we don't talk about this enough. But if everyone listening to this would please subscribe on whatever listening platform you are currently streaming us from, and rate us on Apple Podcasts, we'd really appreciate that.
Spotify as well. We want to get into Google Play. We're working on that.
Oh, I found a new one the other day. I use TuneIn Radio.
TuneIn Radio, never heard of that.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, I guess they're promoting podcasts, so maybe that'd be like a good one for us to get onto.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. And yes, please let us know what you think on Twitter. Everybody fucking voted on Dandy.
What's the Twitter?
Our Twitter is at Between Nerds.
Yeah, we're selling out at the beginning of this episode.
Yes.
We're plugging everything now.
Please give us some time. And then, please, we saw a lot of votes. Obviously, Dandy and Hunter x Hunter won, but we didn't get any thoughts or anything. Please let us know what you think. Email us. Also,
we finally got some hashtag usage this week.
Oh, we did. Finally.
Yeah, shout out to
your friends,
Jay Garcia, Alex Martinez. Our guest from last week, Valentin Hernandez Jr.
Thank you guys.
So with only 3 people entered into the giveaway, there's like a 1 in 3 chance that there's a 100% chance that one of those 3 people will win.
Well, duh.
So honestly, like, if anybody were to just use the hashtag right now, like,
just use it, and
you're like a coin flip's chance away from getting whatever cool thing Aldo has planned.
Yeah, that we have planned. We haven't planned anything yet, but we're working on it.
Thank you for including me in the we.
So, last time we agreed on watching both Hunter x Hunter and Space Dandy. We just finished watching Space Dandy.
Bro, I didn't realize that Space Dandy was 26 episodes. So I rushed over to Aldo's house today to cram this homework in, and we just sat through like 14 episodes.
Oh man. For real, since like what, 2-3 you've been here?
I've been here since like 2:45, and we've just been watching Space Dandy.
Space Dandy.
It's what time? It's 9 o'clock.
It's 9 o'clock. It's September 13th.
We've had 3 meals.
But yeah, so this is another anime, 2014 anime, Space Dandy, directed by Watanabe. And yeah.
Who's Watanabe? He directed
Space Cowboy. Cowboy Bebop.
And Samurai Champloo. So I guess we've seen like his 3 most popular anime at this point.
And I'm glad we're done with it.
Why? We're done with him, with Watanabe?
Yeah, I mean...
But he's famous.
You know what? I know he's famous, but we've just sat through Cowboy Bebop, through Samurai Champloo, and then when you told me, oh yeah, this one's just 12 episodes, and boom, it's 26 episodes.
My bad.
And then we're watching like another 35 for Hunter x Hunter. But this is why we do it, because we like anime.
But season 1 of Hunter x Hunter, at least how they list it, like on Netflix and stuff, it's only 26 episodes. Mm-hmm. And we just said we were going to watch up until the end of the Hunter exam, which is the first season.
Cool. And so yeah, how would you describe Space Dandy?
Space Dandy is Watanabe. He's obviously already a veteran in the game, like in 2013 while they were producing this. And every episode kind of looks like it was animated by like a different lead animator. And you can tell that a lot in like the later half of the episodes, because each episode starts having a unique art style associated with it. Mm-hmm. Even like the new guest characters look like they belong in a different anime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that a lot with what's her name? The one that registers the aliens.
Yeah, and Miss Scarlet.
Yeah, there you go.
It's as a whole, Space Dandy makes me think that this is Watanabe just being like, hey, I've done this before. I've made 2 classics. I can basically do whatever I want at this point. It's like how like Quentin Tarantino can make whatever creative licenses he wants in any of his movies,
and everybody's gonna go watch it.
Yeah, everyone's gonna watch it, and the studio would never question him because he's like the boss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Funimation's not gonna tell Watanabe like, hey, you want to make something a little more streamlined or easy to watch?
Hey, and let me tell you, it's a lot easier to watch. It was a lot easier to watch for me, more than Cowboy Bebop or Shampoo.
I like Shampoo a lot, but Space Dandy, it's like the exact same plot as Cowboy Bebop, as opposed to him in
See, but I'm sorry, in Cowboy Bebop, it's like the whole anime just kept feeling like it was just pushed by like the band that they were featuring throughout the whole anime, and everything just seemed so pushy. Space Dandy doesn't even have a concrete music style,
art
style or
writing
story.
Style. Yeah. Even the way the stories progress is told differently depending on the episode.
But it's not trying to shove that in your face like how Cowboy Bebop did. And I mean, Shampoo was easier to watch than Cowboy Bebop, but I feel like he was taking himself too serious, I guess.
On Shampoo?
On trying to tell that same story he was trying to tell. And I feel like now he just had fun with it.
Yeah, I could see a critique about Space Dandy being that he didn't care enough, almost, because it is too lax of storytelling. It's not as compelling. Like, there's plenty of things to dissect if you look hard enough, but it doesn't really look like Watanabe was going for like a writing classic. He just wanted to
have fun. It just looks like he had fun throughout this whole episode.
In matters of like, it looks like he had fun in the animation. Like, it doesn't look like he cared all that much in the writing room. It just seemed like he wanted to do. He wanted to feature whatever artists he wanted to feature. He wanted whatever weird monsters he could think of on there, and he just even the music choices like are different. And
the music's pretty cool. I like the music.
But I was talking about they're very similar in that Cowboy Bebop he's a bounty hunter, and in Space Dandy he's a rare alien species like collector,
ice agent.
Yeah, he's an ice agent just picking up illegal aliens across the universe.
And have them registered.
Which is like a mistranslation in the beginning because they call him a galaxy-wide alien hunter, but he travels to multiple galaxies.
Yeah.
So he's universe-wide.
Yeah, it's weird. And then at the beginning, in the first episodes, they refer as being a space dandy something else. Like, the narrator says, this is a space dandy.
Like, we're supposed to know what that is.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm like, okay.
It's like, just some bozo in space.
Yeah,
like,
some simp that goes to, like, Hooter type bar.
So explain that. Like, the very first line in Space Dandy is him talking about how he's an ass man, and that his only reason for like living life is to go to this restaurant called Boobies, which is just Hooters. Like, it's space Hooters.
It's space Hooters. And yeah, that's why he hunts aliens. That's why he gets money, and he spends his money at booby locations. And somehow the same girl is always there at the booby location.
Yeah. Across multiple galaxies, across multiple solar systems, there's the same waitress at Boobies just waiting for Dandy.
Which is Honey, yeah. So, I mean, 26 episodes, a lot happens. This anime goes so fast nowhere, in my opinion.
Yeah, it goes hella nowhere fast.
Yeah, it goes super fast nowhere. But, I mean, can you remember some of your favorite episodes? Starting from the beginning, kind of?
Well, I just want to lay out. So, episode 1 is basically how every episode ends up, kind of. Like, they're laying it out at the front. It's just this guy in space, failing at registering new alien species, going to Boobies, just being a simp at some titty bar, and but there's a secret like government agency who like really early on there's a secret like empire that's hunting Space Dandy for some unknown reason. They don't explain it till the very last episode, and even then it's vague. And it's shown that he dies at a lot of.
He died in the second episode.
It's like the very first one, right? The one we're watching right now.
Yeah, this one. I think it's the second one.
He's gonna blow up, but
it is the first one. Yeah.
It's obvious that the overarching narrative doesn't even matter because it's telling you up front that every episode's just going to reset itself and nothing really matters.
Nothing really matters. Yeah, and like like in first episode he fights these monsters. He gets in a bind. He's just fighting these huge ass monsters like in this weird ass planet. But he's getting followed by Dr. what? Dr.
Gel? Gel. I think I wrote down Gel. But what I was going to say is that the episodes we were watching, a lot of the episodes remind us of old Futurama episodes.
A lot of the episodes reminds me of
and
Futurama.
There's a Futurama episode where they explicitly talk about how their narratives end at like the end of every episode. Mm-hmm. And it's like this came out after Futurama.
Correct. Yeah, Futurama's 1999. It went to, I think, almost 2004 or 2006 or something.
The first time, but then they had episodes up until like 2011.
Okay, yeah, and then this anime came out in 2014. But yeah, a lot of similarities. There's the dog episode. I remember the dog episode with...
Which one was that one?
The one with Lonely Pooch Planet. It's episode 8. It's where he lands like in a garbage planet.
Oh.
And he finds a dog.
Oh, well, I don't know why that happened. It comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, and he uses his translator to talk to the dog, and the dog is a female dog. She talks to him, and like they have a play because she's feeling sick or something like that. So they play around throughout the whole episode, and it's similar to Futurama because in Futurama they had the whole Seymour episode with the dog, with Fry's dog.
Oh yeah. And, like, what was weird about that episode is that's, like, all of a sudden a really sad episode when, like, every other episode up to that point's been, like, super just carefree and about absolutely nothing. And then all of a sudden they just wanted to just, like, throw a wrench at your heart for, like, no reason. For no reason. Just, like, I think it'd be funny if we just made the audience sad for an episode. That'd be cool.
Yeah, because the dog is stuck in this planet. I can't remember for how long. But anyways, when he's using that translator... Oh, because Space Dandy... Because he deals with a lot of aliens. He has this wrist shackle thing that translates everything. So he uses that on the dog, and the dog's apparently been trapped in that planet for a while. He plays with her.
Why did she die?
She just died. She was just old, I think.
That's so sad.
And simultaneously, there's another story going on within the dog with like 2 alien fleas.
Oh, yeah. So the second half of the episode is them dealing with these alien fleas taking over like the spaceship and the robot.
Yeah.
And the other supporting characters on the ship. So there's 3 people on the ship. It's Dandy, QT, the vacuum robot, and Meow.
And Meow, yes,
which is not a cat. He's a type of alien.
Yeah, a Bolzolgian or something like that.
Yeah, like a Bolzolgian.
So yeah, that was episode 8, which is very saddening. I think the episode before that was the race episode.
Oh, yeah. And this is one of the first episodes that I have notes regarding how it just the art style just reminds you of a different anime, because they introduce a character named Prince, who's just like some universe-renowned space
Grand Prix winner.
Racer. Yeah.
Is the 108th annual
Grand Prix winners.
Grand Prix, yeah. I think.
But like the art style looks exactly like Gurren Lagann. Okay. And there's a lot of there's not a lot, but there's like 3 or 4 episodes that I have that same note that the characters look like they're straight out of Gurren Lagann, which I don't know like why Watanabe was stealing from that so much. And that just makes me because Gurren Lagann was made by the guy that created Studio Trigger, which I don't know, like maybe it was just really popular at the time and that's why he wanted to steal from it. Anyways, I just thought it was weird that I kept noticing that.
No, but it's weird because did you notice so that guy Prince,
right?
He's like a counter version of Space Dandy in some way, because he also has a robot, but a much futuristic robot.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like...
And so to your point, like he was like you can see a lot of remnants of different animes or different art styles in this Space Dandy anime. When they make fun of the Mickey Mouse dude. He's I'm gonna sue you, and then he just pops out and looks like Mickey Mouse. So it's just like already they're just
They're just poking fun of so
everything.
much.
Yeah, at the same time, it's ridiculous.
The first episode, I kind of liked because it reminded me specifically of a Jet featured episode of Cowboy Bebop. Was episode 5, which is a married companion is a wagon in space, baby. And so every episode up until this point has been about how Dandy is an absolutely terrible like space hunter.
Oh yeah,
like they're living on like 100 wulongs a week, which is like the equivalent of like $1.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not even understood how they're getting by. So Dandy finally is about to capture a really rare species of alien called like a Gentuin or something.
The one that's able to like switch bodies.
Yeah. She can. That's how she's been getting away from space hunters by putting their minds in her puppet.
In her puppet? In her puppet?
It was like a puppet or a doll that she was
the
like
penguin
carrying
thing.
around. Yeah, the penguin thing.
But did she just did that to Space Dandy, or was she just doing that to everybody?
I don't know, but that she was using that power to get away from space hunters.
Mm-hmm.
But this one reminded me of the Jet episode of Cowboy Bebop, where Jet finds a young girl, like a native alien person, and is just trying to like help her out and get her to her parents, which is the exact same story here, except Dandy's trying to get this girl to her grandfather while escaping. Like in Bebop, it was the military, and then over here it's like space hunters. Yeah, it's other space hunters. So it's kind of like Watanabe just giving like a shout out to like his old works. Like it's almost like a reward as a viewer, like, hey, I remember that because I have seen like something that came out 10 years before.
Yeah, and it's crazy because we're now talking about episode 5. Up to this point, we've seen reference to like Dawn of the Dead. We've seen references to a lot of things.
Yeah. Which episode is the Dawn of the Dead one? That's episode 4.
That's 4, yes.
Meow gets bitten by an alien that turns them into zombies. Mm-hmm. And then how does the episode end? They all turn into zombies and that's it. There's no resolution.
And then they it finishes kind of like Shaun of the Dead kind of ending.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where they're just like having regular jobs and they're just like zombie Space Dandy.
Because they're taking like milk or something, and they say that lactic acid is preventing the zombies from decaying.
Yeah.
So that's how they're staying semi-conscious and developing like a zombie society.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah, that's fucking crazy. But to your point, that it just, I think it's, I don't know, maybe like it's just saying he appreciates all this kind of work at some point because the story doesn't go anywhere.
Absolutely not.
You know?
We've talked about this same episode several times throughout the week, but episode 9, the episode about the plants.
Oh yeah.
Me and Aldo went to go see the Texans game at Cabo Joe's this week. They sucked. They lost. But we were briefly pre-discussing this anime and how starting at this point in episode 9, it really looks like Watanabe is just like letting whoever is the lead artist for that episode just go absolutely bananas and do whatever they want to do.
It's amazing how it looks. Up to now, these episodes were giving me actually a headache because I'm like, God damn it, what am I watching? Am I just going into a?
It's the Haruhi Endless Summer episodes all over again.
Yeah, and at this point, this particular episode is really nice. The episode's called "Plants Are Living Things 2, Baby."
Mm-hmm.
I like that all episodes end with "baby" at the end. But yeah, the story. He goes to a planet and he gets kidnapped, right, by these species.
Yeah, it's just a species of sentient plants. Like, it's just a whole planet where plants are just like, they're people, but I don't know, but they're plants.
So the Code D thing apparently was like getting them infected, and they were like these mutated plant beings because of this Code D like.
What was it? Was
spores.
It a chemical?
It was like
spores?
I don't know. To me, it reminded me of spores, but like that episode was very
sad.
Art. No, the art. Like like the little organisms and everything was floating all clunky.
They look like colored pencils almost.
Yeah.
It looks like the color palette changes because like Space Dandy usually is really bright. There's a lot of yellows. There's a lot of bright reds contrasted with black.
Mm-hmm.
and it pops is what we're trying to say. And then all of a sudden the plant episode, it's a bunch of yellows and like beiges and greens on colored pencil-esque like material.
Yeah, there's some point that he's getting like experimented on, and the room itself, yeah, it's so like black backdrop. The beans, you can see him like if they're giants compared to a Space Dandy. But then at some point, it just like they just go to regular sizes.
Oh yeah, like perception's off.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like Fantastic Planet almost.
Fantastic Planet.
That French anime.
Oh yeah,
movie
yes,
from the
it
70s.
does, it does. Oh, and let me remind or tell the audience that while all this is happening, this gorilla, Mr. Gel, is hunting him down, and he's almost like getting close to catching him all the time.
It's like Team Rocket and Pikachu.
Yes.
Like in later episodes of Pokemon, like Ash and the team don't even like recognize that Team Rocket's out to catch their Pokemon because they're so bad at their job.
Yeah, they're just getting fucked over. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like some B plot in every episode that they're just getting fucked up and blown out.
Yeah, and at this point you don't know why he's trying to find him. He just hates him so much. This gorilla guy. Oh, and I was telling you, Drew, that so his ship is like the head of a bald gag. It's Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, so Dr. Gill's spaceship is just the head of the Statue of Liberty with a ball gag in her mouth, and he's a gorilla. And you were telling me that that's just a reference to Planet of the Apes.
Yeah. He's I guess Watanabe is a fan of.
He didn't write it though.
Planet of the Apes. I don't know, bro.
He didn't write it, but
maybe the artist that worked on that episode, or I mean, maybe one of the artists that worked on the whole anime.
Just to be clear, it was the manga was written by Masafumi Harada. Yeah, I wanted to say it with like a Spanish accent almost, but yeah. And what I keep mentioning is that I like the intro song to Space Dandy a lot, even though they keep it for all 26 episodes, which is kind of weird because I feel like a normal anime would have switched up the song at a certain point. But it exactly reminds me of the JoJo intro to part 4.
Diamond?
Yeah, Diamond is Unbreakable. Crazy, noisy, bizarre town.
He almost reminds me of Sasuke, like his hair.
Oh, they have the same haircut. That's right. They have a what's it called? It's called a ducktail.
You told me, yeah, ducktail.
It's called
like
a ducktail, and I've seen like documentaries before how there's whole like Japanese biker cultures where it's just a bunch of middle-aged men wearing this haircut,
just looking like that.
Yeah, which is super weird. It looks like just a bunch of Elvis impersonators in Japan in the 21st century.
When I started watching it, I thought it was kind of like I thought it was gonna be like an Elvis inspired character, because when I saw his ship, like the Hawaiian style and all that, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe like this was kind of like Elvis in some way. But that's just me. He
likes funk and like old bluesy rock and roll music. There's like a few episodes that do allude to that, I think. And probably my favorite episode after episode 9, which was the plant one, was episode 10, which is essentially Groundhog Day. It's called There's Always Tomorrow, Baby.
There's Always Tomorrow, Baby. That was a good episode, but fuck, man, we've been watching so many loops lately. It's kind of like, damn it, I'm stuck in a loop again.
And I thought it was funny because they tied it to the String of Fate again, like how Your Name was really big into the String of Fate, and we were talking about how that's a prominent anime trope. I don't know what it is. It's just like everyone's default like favorite trope, just to use the String of Fate.
I guess it's something very easy to make a story around.
Because it sounds deep. You know what I mean? Like, on a surface level, it's like Interstellar by Christopher Nolan.
So in this episode, they keep going on in the same day as July 8th, right?
Right.
July 8th.
Episode 10, July 8th.
They keep reliving the same day, and it sucks because their spaceship is broken, but it won't be fixed till tomorrow. But tomorrow never comes. And they're just getting drunk every day and groundhogging it all day for like 100 days or something like that.
Yeah. It's like how in Haruhi Suzumiya, after the 43,000th time, they start retaining some memories from, like, that they've done it before. And the first one to realize that was it Meow or was it Dandy? I think it was Meow.
I think it was Meow. Yeah, I think it was Meow. And, yeah, it's... I don't know how did the calendar got...
Because for whatever reason, at this point in the anime, what we're starting to understand about Dandy is that the strings of fate in the universe are all kind of tied to him, which is why, like, all the timelines and the episodes we've seen where he dies at the end, it resets the next day because the whole universe is tied around this man, so he can't die. He's basically immortal because the universe will shape itself around him dying.
and it's just tripped out because, like, we were talking about this the other day, that since he's so connected to these things, like, every adventure, like, just it's in his favor, and, like, he could be losing or something, he could die even.
He's an idiot. He's an absolute idiot.
Yeah, it's great.
But this one, to talk about the calendar, all they showed was that that
split the fucking page.
No. It was originally caused by just, like, planetary energy just coming down on this calendar, and it just stuck the day.
That's how it started. That's
right.
Mm-hmm.
And like you were talking about, it ends because it's what's the lesson in this episode? That you have to love your parents? Like,
no. I love the lesson because at the end it's funny. So they're so tired of living the same day, they can't wait for tomorrow. And at the end, Meow's dad, he's a metal worker. For some reason, he has the skills to split the page of the calendar because you can't rip it. Like, they try so hard to rip the page of the calendar, but since it's not being ripped, it's just gonna stay July 8th.
Right.
And they finally split it. The ship is ready. Meow has a cool moment with his family, and the animation on those weird animals were so weird, weren't they?
Oh yeah.
Like, trying to make, like, a lead girl within his little town, and then all this. I don't know. I thought it was weird how the animation looked.
So then, what's the lesson?
Oh, the lesson was that after they escaped, they were like, hey, should we go? Meow was like, hey, should we go hunt for a alien? And he's like, nah, we'll just do it tomorrow. So they're just living pretty much the same life.
Yeah, they're not doing anything but just bumming it on the ship.
Yeah.
It didn't matter whether or not they were living the same day or not, because they do the same thing every day anyways.
So, like, don't save things for tomorrow that can be done today, pretty much, kind of thing.
That's smart. That
you know?
I didn't think about that.
I don't know. But then, yeah, that episode was pretty cool. What's after that? We have...
I liked episode 11. These are the hitters right here. Like, episode 11, it starts off, they go to the alien registration agency, and there's a box that they're trying to turn into the agency and tell them that it's a rare
registered as an alien.
It's a rare species of alien, but they can't. But they're not allowed to open the box, or they will forget what's in the box.
Yeah, so very weird because they don't know what's in the box already, or they don't know how they got the box.
So the episode's art style starts off with the regular Space Dandy animation, but then they open the box, and all of a sudden it's just a bright red.
It just goes
a bright blue.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden the art palette gets really, like, dark and, like, mellow colors the rest of the episode. And so then it's just all about Dr. Gell having, like, an obsessive episode in his spaceship, and then we learn he actually is, like, a talented scientist, and he's trying to, like, make an equation that explains, like, why things are happening around Dandy.
That's right. And I feel like we haven't been talking enough about Dr. Gell, but he's just trying to catch Dandy, and every time he tries, he's so close, but Dandy just escapes that part of the galaxy and he just ends up somewhere. In this episode, you see Dr. Gell having, like, this manic breakdown and trying to make calculations. He's been like that for a couple of days so far in the episode, and he's just trying to figure out something that's missing. We don't know yet at this point. And Dandy right now, because the box opened, he goes for whatever. When this flashes happened, they go back to the box and there's a book there.
Yeah. There's a bookmark at first, and the bookmark says where to find a book. And by the end of the episode, we learn that the book and the bookmark are actually sentient. and that
A book type alien.
yeah, they call it specifically a book type alien, and she's basically like this leader of this library planet, but then she also has like this magical power to steal knowledge. And like it's almost implied that she was getting a crush on Dandy because she lived like all. It's implied that they lived a long time together, like as a crew, but with both Meow and QT, but she can control their memories because she steals knowledge. So she's taking away their memory of all the time they spent together, so they can't know that this super powerful alien was hanging out with them. But yeah,
No, go for it. Go ahead.
so the episode just ends with her opening the book alien opening up and taking all of Dr. Gale's equations so that even he forgets everything he was working on.
Yeah, so this particular type of alien is it's attracted to knowledge or to something powerful, and at this point in the episode it happened to be Dandy. But then at some point at the end towards the end of the episode, Dr. Gel figures out this formula, and then I think because he figures her out, that knowledge was so powerful
Do you remember how he solved the equation?
Yeah, he said that the boobies.
Yeah. So Dandy just drew some like cartoon boobs on like the bookmark, and Dr. Gill saw that and was like, "Oh, that's what I needed for my equation. It was boobies the whole time."
Yeah, and for some reason, like the book decides to steal this knowledge from Dr. Gell, and it just rips the universe. Fucking that book gets that formula, and then like
end of episode.
Yeah, but then it kind of restarts.
Oh, yeah.
To where they're back at the registration agency. They see the box that was open, but now there's a cassette in it.
Yeah, and then they don't even explain what the cassette's about. Like, because they don't have a cassette player, obviously.
Dude, I was reading somewhere that apparently in that universe, people still listen to, like, Walkmans and, like...
Oh, there's an episode where they have like a tape deck player, like one of those big old boom boxes from the 80s that actually play
like, they
tapes.
don't have CDs or anything like.
I wonder why.
I don't know, man.
Episodes after that, episode 12 is about a chameleon.
Did you like that one?
I hated this one.
It was very unclimactic.
It was so boring.
It was. Then it goes like again. It goes back to episodes of Futurama. Like in episode of Futurama, they have a person that. Copies itself, and it's just an alien eating like the crew members.
Oh, but that reminds me more of The Thing than anything.
Yeah, but it's there. And you said you didn't like that one. Yeah, I didn't find that one very, very climatic. What was after that? That was episode 12.
Yeah, episode 13 was about even vacuum cleaners fall in love, baby.
With a toaster.
Yeah, it's just about where QT falls in love with that literal coffee maker.
That was pretty cool. All this time I thought that Cutie was a girl.
It's a boy. That's why.
It's a boy.
But that one's kind of dull too. QT's like the least interesting character just because he's a robot. But that one ends weird because it ends in a giant kaiju battle. Because an evil alien trying to get revenge for being discarded creates a giant monster of himself, but then QT turns 100 feet tall to fight him. And that's one of those other things that are tied to Space Dandy. It's just like weird occurrences like that are just explained because like the universe's fate and luck is all tied to the Dandy, that people around him just have stuff happen to them too.
Yeah,
which is the only reason
nothing's gonna happen bad around him, I guess. And and it's so, and like, oh, we forgot to mention that Space Dandy has also like this Ultraman style robot episode, and it goes pretty crazy. Like I said, that episode was pretty for me. The episode 14, episode 13.
Episode 14, that's the one where they go to a bunch of different dimensions. They haven't even explained how. They're like pulling the literal hair of destiny or like string of destiny out of the world around them and just like traveling to different universes.
Yeah, it was like a strand on his head, so I thought it was hair at some point. So they pulled it and they sucked themselves into a string, a wormhole that
And they
put him out in another dimension.
They keep seeing other dimension versions of our crew, which is Dandy, QT, and Meow. There's like a character that looks like Dragon Ball. There's more Gurren Lagann characters.
There's the Sailor Moon one.
There's a Sailor Moon one. There's a depressed Dandy.
Oh, the depressed Dandy. That was great.
But again, like, it leads to nothing. Like, it's just everyone... They all the Dandies go to boobies together. And they're all hitting on Honey
and
together.
And they're all broke. They don't have any money.
They don't have any money because they're all shitty space hunters. And episode 15, I didn't like that much. It's just...
How did episode 14 end?
It's just...
They just go back right to...
Yeah, they hit like a barrier in space or something, and then they all just go back to their own dimension.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, episode 15, you said you don't like it? The one with the puppet?
The one with the puppet, he's collecting smiles.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It's one of those episodes, like, it's this anime, for me, it's cool because it has a lot of good episodes and very little bad episodes. I think the puppet one was not good, you know. I don't think like 13 was good, but most of these are really good. Comparing to Bebop, I'm just comparing this to Bebop again.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I started watching a little bit of Hunter x Hunter again. I've already seen the entirety of Hunter x Hunter, but to get ahead for next week, I started watching it, and I missed watching something where the plot as a whole matters. Like, oh my god, I am so tired of watching, because like the notes and like trying to remember each episode is so much harder because they don't actually like lean into each other.
It's fucking ridiculous. So nice. I know what you mean. I started watching Hunter x Hunter too, and it's just so nice just watching it. My girl has been watching it with me. She says she likes it. And yeah, and like these episodes, they're so random. Like all the like, you know, Cowboy Bebop, but I'm liking this episodes. This episode's either visually or the little story that happens in the episode catches my attention.
The only time I end up liking an episode, I don't think there's like one episode of Dandy where I like the actual writing. If I end up liking the episode, it's because of the art style they decided to feature that episode.
The plant one was pretty good. I like the story on that one. The next episode, what was it? The fish one.
Oh, this one was interesting because this is like a unique sci-fi like tool object that I haven't seen used before, which is that they buy a literal flashlight that can transport you across the universe just by flashing that light on yourself. So Dandy accidentally travels to a universe where a fish is stuck on another planet, and Meow has to go save him with this flashlight, but they live so far in the future that this flashlight uses antique like D-cell batteries, and of course they don't have these.
In the well, yeah, they don't have this in this world, in this space Dandy world. So yeah, they at first it was an accident. Why they teleport his head? His head, and he sees this fish that he himself is an astronaut for his planet.
The art style changes when he transports, because then it starts looking like watercolory.
I think it just changes like more and more and more and more and more throughout the episode. I think it just started changing from the beginning, but it changes slightly and slightly and slightly. At the beginning, you see similar art, but then like towards the end of the episode, it just starts turning like super weird.
Right.
And yeah, so he's an astronaut from his planet because he's investigating this particular phenomenon that happens in that moon or something.
Yeah, and he's just trying to get back to his planet, which is seen as wasteful. And you brought it up perfectly. It's like the Rick and Morty Pluto episode.
Yeah, Pluto's a planet.
Yeah, because in this episode, Pluto is losing its mass because the government of Pluto just keeps extracting from the planet.
Just fracking like Pluto or some shit like that.
Yeah, which is like exactly what's happening to this fish planet. And this is the first time I realized that a lot of it is not only taking from Futurama, but it's taking from, or it's related to Rick and Morty, because I think Rick and Morty might have been after this came out.
Yeah, I believe so. 2014. You know what? Maybe it might have. I can't really remember. 2016 was an election.
These all remind me of each other, like, because they're all basically the same thing. They're just like space cartoon sitcoms. I don't know, like,
and again, Futurama. There's an episode where also this shit happens with they have like the world like almost colliding into itself, and it's so close.
Yeah, so like
each other.
The ocean on one planet because the moon's so close to it, the gravitational pull will like bring the water as a pillar between the two planets?
I can't really remember. At some point, there was a big ass tree in the whole world which burned down, and then the roots, because this tree was so big, the roots left big ass holes in this already burnt out, tree holes. And
like, that all sounds super confusing and super stupid, but you're exactly like explaining what happened.
Yeah,
and like that's almost like Dandy telling you as a show, like, none of this matters. Like, yes, this is a science fiction narrative, but like the actual science in this fiction does not fucking matter. Like,
yeah. It's all fucking crazy. And yeah, I think like the water left in the planet kept getting evaporated, and it rained, and then fire some reason came out. I don't know.
There was a phantom fish that died, which is the saddest part of the whole episode.
Yeah. And so before that, this astronaut fish, I think this was one of my favorite ones too. The astronaut fish got sent to that planet by this general fish on his planet, and that planet that he's at, it's called what? The needy boyfriend planet.
Yeah.
And that planet that he comes from is
like the needy girlfriend planet?
Yeah, something girlfriend planet, or the girlfriend planet, or something like that. Which is crazy because we see a lot of creepy other episodes that relates to like stalkers or like creepy this or like something like that. But anyways,
I think stalking's seen different in Japan. I don't know what it is, because so I keep telling you and Lloyd that I get super excited to watch the new episode of Rent a Girlfriend every week. But like the last like 3 episodes of this anime, this guy's just creeping on this rental girlfriend. Like it's still a comedy, but it's weird because like her job is to be a rental girlfriend, and she goes on fake dates with these losers. But he's so enamored with her, he's like following her on all these dates and just like hiding behind the bushes. And we see like creepy stuff like that in Dandy too.
It's a common topic, I guess, in Japan, man. I heard like the situation during the buses and stuff are like really weird too.
In public transportation.
Yeah, in public transportation and stuff. But so then this fish, with the help of Dandy, of course, while this phenomenon is happening, there's this water connecting both planets because of some fucking tide moon reason. And
something with gravity, I don't know.
And the fish manages to get back home. It turns out that his best friend or something like that it's a general, screwed him over, would send him to the moon.
And married his girl.
And married his girl that he was in love with. And he was just trying to explain to everybody that the planet was going to be destroyed if they don't do something. I can't remember what it was, but they didn't listen to him, and they just fucking destroyed everything.
Yeah,
they just left him in the planet. That's right.
They said they had to leave the planet because a once in every 10,000 year asteroid was going to burn them up or something.
Yeah, and that shit starts happening, like kind of like Riddick. Do you remember Riddick?
No.
The Chronicles of Riddick?
Nope.
No?
I have no idea what that is. What is that?
No, that was the trilogy, the movie trilogy with Ben Diesel. Like, he's like a super weird alien dude.
No.
Watch them. They're pretty cool. One of them's called Silent Something or Dead Silent or something like that. The other one's called Riddick, but it's pretty cool. Anyways, the sun or this flame gets so close to the planet that it starts burning everything. So it's like the sun in that planet of Riddick. That's what I was going to say. So everything that the light touches is just kind of just burning.
Yeah, and that's basically how the episode of Space Dandy ends, because Dr. Gell in his spaceship is coming to pick up Dandy, but he's able to block out the sunlight enough that Dandy can use the teleporting flashlight to get back home.
Oh yeah, and then this whole time, Meow is hungry because he hasn't eaten anything because of the. And you said that you thought it was the animations on Meow that were weird.
Yeah. So they start making him look super crazy because it's just shown that he hasn't eaten in a couple of days.
And they're talking to a fish this whole fucking time.
They're talking to a fish this one time. So Meow, the cat, wants to eat him. But then the episode ends that the fish gets fried by
the sun thing.
With the sun comet thing. And so they just eat him at the end.
Yeah, they're just eating him at the end. Because once they teleport to their universe, the fish, sentient fish, is just a regular fish in their dimension.
No. He turned into a regular fish because he got cooked. Because of the
dimension
No, it's the same. It's the same universe, but on different. They're in different galaxies.
Oh, okay.
But QT basically says like, yeah, he probably was like a special, unique alien that we could have given to the agency. But now that he's cooked, he's just a regular fish,
and they just eat him. Oh man, that shit's crazy. What episode was that? That was 16.
That was 16. That is, what is that called? Slow and Steady Wins the Race, baby.
I kind of don't want to talk about 17, but I feel like we have to.
I love episode 17. This might be like top 1, top 2, like of my favorite episodes.
How?
So it's called The Transfer Student is Dandy, baby. And this one is like the funniest episode, I think, because it's just whoever wrote this episode was just like making fun of like American 80s, 90s, and early 2000s like romantic comedy like story structures. And because the whole concept is 90210, like they
Beverly Hills, California, just like stuck up.
What did they call it? Beverly Hills.
Beverly Hills.
They're at a high school in Beverly Hills.
Yeah, and you see some references to what is that movie you said? She's All That.
Yeah, She's All That. Where that's a story where an ugly nerd girl,
Ugly Betty kind of story,
takes her glasses off and is all of a sudden hot at the prom and super popular.
Yeah,
and but so Dandy's at this school in Beverly Hills, and they don't even explain why he's there. Like they just say he's a transfer student at this school, and that's it. Like. And he's immediately grouped in with losers and the outcasts, and he's getting bullied and picked on.
He's like the girl that looked like the Wendy's girl.
But it's also making fun of High School Musical because like most of the dialogue is sung in this episode. And, like, because the very first song is just them singing, like, the caste system at the school. And they're like, it's a very strict caste system. Like, you just gotta accept it. And it's just, like, cool kids versus losers.
So cringy. Because, yeah, they just sing the entire episode. And Dandy's just being the new kid in school. I don't know. It was very cringy to me.
It doesn't make sense. But then, so this nerd girl with red hair and glasses that's hanging out with Dandy, that's also a loser, there's like a training montage that could have been out of like Rocky or Karate Kid. Like there's some synth pop song playing. Like it sounds like it's something out of the 80s or the late 70s. And it's just them running up hills and like but like it's them training physically when they're supposed to be like getting cool and preparing for like a dance, which doesn't make sense. So then the rest of the episode is just they go to said dance and they do like a bunch of singing and like I watched like, well, we just watched it, but I watched like the last song like 3 times. I think it's so funny.
It was. I can't tell you anything about that whole episode because the whole thing was just singing and there was just like a high school thing that, ooh, you guys are losers. We're cool. I'm the prettiest girl. Like some lady is singing about being like shit.
She's literally singing that I'm the center of the universe.
Yeah, and then everybody's like, no, this is the center of the universe, and no, this is the center of the universe, or something.
It's just making fun of American culture.
Yeah,
or like it's not even making fun of. It's almost like an homage to it because it's almost like, hey, this shit was cringy, but like it was kind of cool. It was kind of cool at the same time, like. Because all the songs like aren't necessarily that bad. They're like they're decent. They're respectful. Like it's not like
it was just cringe for me. It was funny. Yeah, the last song when they just go into that dance, that was pretty cool.
That's what I was gonna say. I think it's so funny that like some of the best animation in this whole series is that dance.
Oh yeah,
which makes no sense. There's all these action scenes, all these weird aliens, but the best animated part is Dandy just dancing and singing.
Yep. Yeah, it's fucking band. No, not band episode. The band episode comes later. That was just a weird.
I thought episode 18 was super boring. The big fish is huge, baby. It had a unique art style. Like the art style, you mentioned it before I could put it to words. Was that it's what does it look? It looks like a 16th century Japanese painting or something, right?
Yeah, it has a lot of blends, very nice on the background, and some of like the ocean art that came into it later reminded me of Wind Waker. Almost. Yeah. But this story was very dull. I mean, the color palette throughout this whole episode was very dark.
It's boring. It's a lot of browns, a lot of tan.
And some of the shots, like I said, these paintings, like they use them as back shots, but that's all it is. and they just talk about how that the world was kept dark because of this moon.
Oh yeah, it's the exact same plot that we just explained from from episode 16 with the planets getting too close to each other, and there's like an organism moving between the two.
Yeah, and apparently every time this moon shows up, like everything just goes fucking super crazy dark. And honestly, I didn't know if that was hurting them somehow, but it was just happening. That's all I know, that was happening in the
They
planet.
don't even explain it, but like Dandy's just there with these other people, but like he's trying to catch some mystical alien that's deep within the ocean and is going to travel to that other planet or something.
Yeah, because like the grandpa of that little kid or little girl was there, and he didn't like Dandy, so he was just trying to tell the people that there was this being trying to escape their world through the blue moon. But nobody believes him and stuff. So the episode just turns into this hunt for like Moby Dick kind of thing.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is, but it looks like 16th century Japanese art.
Yeah, and then they finally connect this story. And it reminds me of the story I heard a while back with like the Ness, the Loch Ness monster. Apparently, there's a story somewhere out there that the moon is the way to his world or some shit like that.
I have never heard that.
I'll look it up later. I'll let you know. But yeah, and then this fish, multiple fish being just lounges.
Oh yeah, it looks super crazy. Like it looks like multiple 100-foot eels, like
koi fish, like a lot of koi fish just swimming up. Like it was weird
and super crazy. The most outstanding part of that episode is just the art style, and I would probably the only thing I wrote down was that I complimented the art style for that episode.
Yeah, and towards the end, like that will like leaves and it makes everything look a little bit more normal. So like the animation kind of goes back to like a little normality.
And I like the regular art palette because like I keep saying, not only do I like the song in the intro, I like the animation a lot. Like it's a lot of like really bright, looks like some Grand Theft Auto Vice City art. Like
it doesn't remind you anything like Cowboy Bebop or Shampoo.
Yeah.
Like it's really nice. The colors are amazing. And what was after the big fish one?
Episode 19, Gallant Space Gentleman Baby. This one's
sitcom.
Yeah. This one's funny that for whatever fucking reason, there's a laugh track just playing in this episode for no reason. Like there's just a fucking laugh track just in the back of like.
I don't know if they just wanted the audience to make them like just for that, because they don't mention it throughout the whole episode.
No, it's just fucking there. Like,
yeah, like they have a fucking B-roll laugh of some audience.
Yeah, they're playing it not even on funny parts is what makes it funny, because like those really bad sitcoms where they just play it at the end of every line. That's what it turns into at one point. Like they're just regular talking and they're just throwing on the laugh track.
And I saw like when the first time I heard it, I'm like, did I just hear like a laugh? Because they kind of snuck it on you. For me, they snuck it on me. It kind of looked like a sound, like a music, like an instrument. Sounded like I don't know, something like a beat. But then later on, it became more prominent. It was like ha 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 ha, like it was laughing.
Yeah.
But they don't mention it, and I don't really got anything from that episode besides that nobody fucking knew they were in a sitcom.
Well, this episode was important because it starts highlighting that Miss Scarlet, who is the person that works for the
Is that when they go on that fake date?
No, so Miss Scarlet is the person that the crew interacts with when they go to the Space Alien Registry place, and she's important in this episode because she's lonely and her coworker invites her to a mixer to try to find a dude. She finds a rare alien called a Cloudian, which like normally it would be her job to register said alien, but she's already drunk from going to brunch with her friends, so she just kind of goes with this stranger and is just drinking with him more. And we find out that Honey, the girl from Boobies, the Dandy's favorite waitress, is half Cloudian, and this Cloudian is their half brother and half sister.
And apparently they have to be with their own cloud?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just the plot doesn't even matter. All I took from it was like, hey, don't forget about Scarlet. She's here somewhere. She's in the plot. Remember, she's in the opening sequence song.
Yeah.
And that's like all I took from it.
Yeah, and the episode just goes to saying that this Cloudian, they destroyed the cloud for some fucking reason, and then he's no longer valuable because they can't register a Cloudian without their cloud or something like that.
It's like how they couldn't register the dead fish just because he's a fish.
Just because he's already a cooked fish.
I liked episode 20 a lot. It's called Rock and Roll Dandy Baby.
You liked it. You know,
I like that one a lot. That's what I'm saying.
hate it.
I liked it a lot. So it's literally the band makes a band. No, the crew makes a band with the...
So throughout this...
Yeah, you explain it. You explain it.
Throughout this whole time, like we said, we haven't mentioned Dr. Gale enough. He's... apparently, Dr. Gale is a Hydra kind of leader-style gang.
Yeah, he's like the second in command of some evil empire.
Yes, and then... this new character that we see in episode 20, it's the commander of the rival fucking Jedi Masters or whatever.
Yeah, basically it's Star Wars. His name is Johnny. He's the commander-in-chief of the Jai-Crow Empire.
Yes.
And he looks like a vampire almost. He looks like Edward Cullen because he's wearing like a sparkly jacket, and it almost looks like they would have drawn him with fangs. Like,
yeah, at some point it reminded me, like a vampire. I don't know, very Dracula, Castlevania weirder.
Yeah. So he meets Dandy because just at Boobies, they're just drinking together and they're arguing, and then all of a sudden they just realize they have a bunch of things in common, and they decide to make a bar called Dropkicks. But it's funny because it's an absolute like nightmare of a band. They only have one song, and the episode ends with them trying to do their only big performance, and Johnny doesn't show up because he's supposed to be fighting the evil Galactic Empire at the same time that the performance is going on. So Johnny leaves the battle and like descends on this
to perform.
Yeah, on this planet dome in a fucking Megazord robot, and the whole thing blows up in fire.
Yeah, and he shows up, and they just have like this musician.
I like the song.
Fight. The song's nice, but the episode, man, like some of those episodes they just hurt me. Like I'm just like fuck. Like, it doesn't interest me as far as like the story, like the band. Come on.
The story doesn't matter.
I know it doesn't matter, but I don't like that kind of episode. I didn't like that episode. It was just
you said you didn't like episode 21 either. It's the one where they're in limbo.
Limbo. You know what? I had to pay more attention to that one because when you said that the quote in the episode where the episode is called "The World Without Sadness," and at some point you told me that Space Dandy says, "Oh well, yeah, but there's no joy either." I saw the beginning of the episode. I kind of like skip a little bit in the middle, but from the beginning, he's in this world where he's dressed like he's in a cult.
Again, they don't explain anything. Like the episode just starts. The art style is completely different. Like completely different. Like it looks like Castlevania. Dandy's just in some robe in what looks like what does it look like? It looks like when they show the Shinigami land in Death Note. That's what it looks like. That's how they're showing Limbo to be. It's like Dead Man Wonderland. Yeah,
and even the monster or whatever the fuck that thing was.
Yeah, some clown demons. Like
it reminded me of what is it, Ryuk?
Yeah, Ryuk from Death Note.
From Death Note, but like a clowny version of it. And throughout the episode, the crew, well, not the crew because it's just Space Dandy, he's confused up to where he is or when he
doesn't even realize he's dead.
Yeah.
And we don't figure that out till the end either because he's shocked that nobody in this world has a reflection, and he doesn't even realize that he doesn't have a reflection because it's still new to him that he's dead. And what this clown-esque Shinigami person that was showing him around Limbo was trying to explain to him was that this world is perfect because you don't eat, you don't sleep, you don't suffer.
There's no worries.
Like, there's no sadness in this world, right? And that's when Dandy's like, well, then what's the point? Because there's no joy. And there's a lot of unnamed characters in this episode in the background that are having dialogue-heavy discussions about, like, the significance of life. Like, this episode, out of nowhere, it gets really weirdly deep. Like, there's a conversation two characters have about what is the point of living life if you're just prolonging your own death.
Yeah.
And it's just about, like, how you're maybe better off dead. And that's where Dandy comes full circle, trying to be like,
I'm trying to go to boobies.
Yeah, you gotta experience joy and experience like what you can before you die.
Yeah, that's and like I said, I came towards the end of the episode, but I at the beginning, what I saw in the beginning, I didn't really get me until I guess I stopped paying attention to that episode. It sounds like a good episode. I might have to watch it again.
It reminded me of what my understanding of Dead Man Wonderland is.
Dead Man Wonderland.
It's an anime about like Limbo kind of. Like it's just like what it's like living on the other side almost. That'd be something interesting for us to watch for the cast, to be honest.
Just put it on a fucking poll or something.
Yeah, because I haven't seen that. Honestly, before I forget this thought, like I've had a bunch of thoughts recently about the poll, and there's like just so many good things that we could watch. Like there is no reason that we have yet to watch Psycho-Pass 100.
Yes.
I mean, Mob Psycho 100, excuse me. Honestly, that's two different anime that I'm confusing together, but we should watch both of them. Psycho-Pass is one. It's a horror thriller that's like fucking Orwellian dystopian future stuff. And then there's Mob Psycho 100, which is probably one of the most popular recent shonen. Super bright, super colorful. It's about psychics. It's about espers fighting each other. It's, like, it couldn't be more simple.
Okay.
And I was telling you earlier, I asked you if you had seen FLCL, Fooly Cooly, which is like a classic that was also played on Adult Swim and Toonami, but it's only like 8 episodes long, and it's more science fiction fantasy stuff. There's just like a never-ending list of things I think about that we should be watching, and I don't know.
I agree with you, and I mean we want. I would like to hear more. We see a lot of votes in the poll, which we love. Thank you guys for following us on Twitter at Between Nerds. I wish we would get more feedback from.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I have so many thoughts. We need like the audience to tell us what to watch at this point. You know what I mean? Like there's only so many options I can put on the poll, but you tell us what to put on there. Like, what would you be willing to vote for? Because we want as much participation as possible.
Absolutely. And we still have, like you said, a long list of animes that we like, that we would like to watch.
There's like a million things we could be watching, bro.
And at this point, we're going to be talking about those that we like. But please let us know what you guys would like to watch. And
at Between Nerds on Twitter.
At Between Nerds on Twitter.
Send us whatever you want at betweennerdspodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Hit me up at Drew Elias. Or is it Drew Phillip? I don't even know what my Twitter is. I think it's Drew Elias.
Mine's at all these vibes. But yeah, let's continue. What were we?
Sorry, forgive me for my tangent.
No, it's alright. It's fine. I
love it. Episode 22. It's literally, this episode is just about disco dancing. Like, there is no real plot except it's the plot of
Boogie Nights.
Boogie Nights. It's a plot, but not only Boogie Nights. What's that movie from the 80s where they banned like country line dancing in an American town?
Oh, Footloose.
It's like Footloose because like this whole planet is devoid.
No, not Footloose. Dirty Dancing.
Whatever.
I don't know. One of those movies.
One of those, but the concept is there's just some destitute planet that their culture is at a loss because no one's dancing anymore. So it's up to Dandy with his hips to dance disco and
somehow the dancing in that planet it's controls time. At some point.
They don't explain anything.
And there's this halfway lit old grandma throughout the whole episode that looks all raggedy. Like, even the art style is different on her. She's just almost dead. Reminds me of grandma in SpongeBob. And
we said it was like Boogie Nights because the character's
name, or
there's a dancer in this competition named
Ton Girobalta. Ton Girobalta. That's his name. And obviously making fun of John Travolta and Boogie Nights. And yeah, they just start dancing. And I guess the society forgot that they were Dancians. This is the creature of alien that they are.
They don't even try getting creative with the names.
No, they're just Dancians and book type aliens. And yeah, there was nothing to. I
kind of didn't like it. I didn't find it that interesting. I did like the point where John Travolta's character and Dandy do like a dance off at the end because like the world's like falling apart around them, but they're just dancing. Doesn't make any sense, but whatever. Episode 23, bringing back that Scarlet point about how she's getting important. This entire episode is about how Dandy is gonna fake date Miss Scarlet and
for a week
to try to make her ex-boyfriend jealous?
Oh yeah, because then again the stalker topic comes back in this episode because Scarlet notices that her boyfriend in this giant robot ex-boyfriend in this giant ass robot, she can see this guy from like the window, and he's just like a giant ass robot. Like
he's in a whole ass Gundam,
a black Gundam. Yeah, it looks pretty
just cool. Poking his head out of the alien registration center, just watching her work.
Again, creepy. And she started getting important. So she, for some reason, she makes the decision to ask Dandy to
date her,
to pretend to be the boyfriend for a week while they're at a like retreat for work.
They go to a planet called Trendy Planet, where all people do is just take trendy dates together.
So it's like a moon-based amusement park that has different domes, but in these different domes is a different environment to where you would take a person out and
you go skiing, you go walk the park,
the beach,
yeah.
And there's a circus one.
We finally get a beach episode.
True, we see Miss Scarlet.
And part of Miss Scarlet and Dandy's deal was that he couldn't make advances on her.
Yeah, so no
kissing, even.
Whatever. Yeah.
But she starts. We learned throughout this episode they actually do have a lot in common because they like the same obscure like kung fu artist.
Oh yeah. They find somehow Scarlett's apartment or house lights on fire or some shit like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he sees in the rubbles that she has like a tape for this old school samurai movies or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I think I know which one they're referring to. They're actually on HBO. I'll show you later. So at this point, Scarlet starts to notice that Dandy's he's a gentleman sometimes, or he's nice when it needs to be, I guess.
She gets jealous because one of their fake dates, they go to Boobies, and Honey and Dandy are like super close because like they basically see each other every day.
Yeah.
And Honey's like
all up on Dandy, and Dandy's cool with it because it's just...
Yeah, because he knows they're fake dating, but then Scarlet gets all mad at him.
And then like Dandy starts talking to another girl, and then she gets super pissed. At the beach, when they're at the beach.
Yeah. So Dandy like buries her in sand, and then when she wakes up, like he's talking to another girl.
Yeah. And it's funny because like, oh look, a couple chasing after each other in the beach,
and she's just trying to like chase him to kick his ass.
Yeah. And she they end up the fucking 5 centimeters per second moment.
Why? Yeah. So they have this. They blow up the ex-boyfriend's ship somehow. I don't even remember. And then they have this huge ass argument. But then on both of their calendars, so that they're supposed to have some final date together. So Dandy's late. He grabs the secret movie that he knows
he's fighting some people, and he's super late to this thing.
So he rushes to the restaurant bar, and he's gonna see her. She already dipped. She waited for him, and then he's looking for her, running around the street.
Bartender, where is she? Do you know where she went?
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't know.
He's just running around the streets yelling Scarlet, Scarlet, and then so she hears him yell Scarlet.
Echo, yeah, she hears like an echo of the Scarlet, kinda.
Yeah. So like they both about turn around, and then the train
passes,
cuts through their line of sight. Yeah. And 5 centimeters per second.
And 5 centimeters per second episode. They got it in. You thought they wouldn't, but they did.
We know, that we've maybe already been watching too much that we can relate singular scenes to like different anime to like what it's exactly referencing.
We're gonna start like seeing like just an anime world just like instead of regular reality.
I can't view any form of animation without trying to relate it to some other fucking show.
And speaking of relating things, next episode is the Law and Order episode.
I don't like this one.
It just went nowhere very slowly.
Why is it the Law and Order episode?
They start off with a court kind of setting, and Dandy's being accused of murdering a guy with a baseball.
Yeah, but it's the Law and Order like production style, because there's the loud like dunk dunk, and then the title sequence like initial arguments.
They'll be like racist. Dun, dun.
Yeah. So, and I never liked Law and Order.
Man, some people swear by it.
Is it still on?
I think so.
That's weird. I don't know. So Dandy is accused of killing an alien that he was hunting by smashing his head with a baseball.
Yeah, by throwing a fucking baseball at him so hard that fucking breaks his skull.
And so all the witnesses in this are basically just snitching on Dandy. Like they're like, it's Scarlet, QT, Honey, Meow, and they're all like basically saying that he's a piece of shit. Yeah. Like he's a creep at the bar. He's a bad worker. Because one of the evidences against him is like, if his profession is to be a supposed bounty hunter, then why is he so bad at bounty hunting? And they're just like, I don't know.
Yeah, the whole episode is kind of ridiculous, and it goes, like I said, it goes like in a Law and Order kind of way. And pretty much towards the end, what was the thing on the baseball that made her do what the baseball did?
There's some weird like fake element. They call
mitochondrians for like
pionium. Pionium, and somehow through malicious intent, and with pionium, it's able to like transfer through dimensions, and that's how it smacked this guy in the head.
I don't know what the hell happened. So, anyways, throughout this whole court, whatever thing, some of the witnesses are a pair of kids.
Right.
They say that they talked against Dandy, but then they find out that these kids were playing baseball, and somehow they got angry at each other, and one of them throws the baseball that we're talking about, but this baseball has that pionium.
Yeah, the pionium
in it, and somehow the guy that was pitching the batter had malintent to hit him.
So the guy batting wanted to hit his friend that was pitching the ball at him. And he wanted to kill him so badly that with the pionium, the ball tried to kill someone because it had malicious intent.
Yeah. So once it hit it, the baseball just skipped through space.
Yeah, and
it ended at the spot that that alien was when
it beat some board. It put a hole in some guy's head.
Yeah, and it happened to be the guy that Danny was with. Right?
Yeah. Hold on, we skipped an episode.
We skipped an
interesting one because episode 24 is an other dimensional tail baby.
Oh, the fourth dimensional one.
Yeah, this one's about, we learn about Dandy's ex-girlfriend being a fourth dimensional being that is basically just a heart inside of a box.
Like a fourth dimensional moving box. And like fourth dimensional, it's kind of like Dr. Manhattan. There's no time for them. They're there all the time, experiencing the same time. Because there's no time for them. So that's what a kind of four-dimensional being is.
But so her and Dandy were dating, but she left Dandy for a two-dimensional being.
Yes, Paul. So the plot is that a two-dimensional universe warps into the three-dimensional universe. This being creepy.
This fourth-dimensional being has to stop her ex-boyfriend, who is the leader of the two-dimensional universe, by sending her three-dimensional Dandy ex-boyfriend to destroy the two-dimensional universe, which through the destruction of the energy source in the two-dimensional universe, it creates a one-dimensional universe that folds in on itself.
Yes?
That's the plot of the episode.
Yeah, that is the plot of the episode.
It made zero sense.
It made zero sense, and yeah, it was just like a little Valentine's Day episode.
But what was funny about this one is that Dr. Gell is in the background of this episode, and in the very beginning he gets transported to the two-dimensional space.
Oh yeah.
And then when the one-dimensional universe goes off, he gets transferred into the one-dimensional universe. But this whole time, Dandy doesn't even realize that this person exists.
He's oblivious to Dr. Gell. But yeah, that episode was kind of weird. Again, it reminded me of Futurama.
I don't know if that reminded me of the there's like dimensional police in Rick and Morty.
Oh yeah, the like the syndicate, right?
Right.
The-
But this episode's interesting because they explain how warp travel works, and like they start kind of trying to explain like the formula around Dandy and like why weird energies around him. Dandy is basically the only person in this universe that has mastered warp travel, but he doesn't do it because it could cause hair loss, and his most prized possession is like his fucking ducktail, so he doesn't want to lose hair. But so the fourth dimensional being Catherine asks Dandy at the end of the episode, "Do you know what warp travel is?" He says it doesn't exist because what we consider warp travel is just traveling between the space between dimensional folds almost, which I don't fucking get, but.
It just gives me a little. It reminds me of like the wormhole theory. Like, you know, it bends space, and you end up at one point of space, and you end up at another point in space without traveling that space.
What I'm sorry. What? So the part that doesn't make sense to me, which is also the show trying to explain why Catherine and Dandy can't be together anymore, even though they both care for each other still, is Catherine, as a fourth dimensional being, sees Dandy since he has done warp travel. She sees the Dandy before warp travel and the Dandy after warp travel as different people. So the Dandy she once loved no longer exists.
Yes.
I don't get it.
Dude, there's a lot of things about this show that I don't get. That being one of them. But I guess the whole idea is that they're trying to just emphasize that Dandy is this being connected to universe, to multiple dimensions and stuff.
So right. So back to episode 25, which is Dandy's Day in Court, which you already talked about. At one point in the trial, they like test Dandy for like strange chemicals and stuff, and that's when they figured out that there is pionium on Dandy, but there's also no genetic material on him.
No, really?
Yeah, because they originally tried to use these fake machines in the sense of the court case to test the baseball if there was DNA samples on it, and then test it against Dandy.
I get you.
And that's how they figured out there was the pionium on the baseball, and that there was pionium on Dandy.
Yeah.
And so that episode ends on a cliffhanger, and this is the first episode. These are going to be the first two episodes that connect to each other narratively, because the end of Dandy's court case is he's captured by the evil empire that Dr. Gale is a part of.
Yeah, that's episode 26. That's our...
Right.
That's our last episode.
Never-ending Dandy baby.
Never-ending Dandy baby. But yeah, man, 26. The episode 26 starts off with Dandy being held like
by the Gogol Empire,
like almost like
Princess Leia on a cross. I don't know.
Princess Leia on the cross, kinda. I don't know. It was weird, but
they're trying to. So basically, the Gogol Empire has been trying to capture Dandy this whole time because he has the power to transcend dimensions, as we have seen, and that is their explanation for the episode where they're just tying at the string of fate between universes and traveling between dimensions, because only Dandy has the power to do stuff like that, which is why the Gogol Empire has been trying to capture him this whole time so that they can harness and abuse that power.
Cool. Yes. And at this point, very dramatically, he's being held by Dr. Gale, and all of his friends that he has met throughout this season, like, are kind of like helping him, trying to get him out of there. Right? It's just Honey, Scarlet, Meow,
and
QT. They're just going in their spaceship, which at this point, very good animation on the spaceship. I didn't notice it looked like a bee.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a little
like Bumblebee.
On the side it doesn't really look like it, but on that episode you can really take a good look at the ship. It was really nice. So we learn in this episode that the rival agency or whatever, the one that
the other empire,
the good one,
the Jicro Empire that Johnny is the commander in chief of.
That's right, Johnny, and They have been trying to infiltrate, I guess, the evil empire, the evil
The
galactic
Google Empire?
Yeah, and we find out towards the end of the episode. Oh, we didn't even mention this throughout this whole series. Dr. Gel has it like an assistant.
Oh yeah, named
like,
B.
Yep,
BEA.
BEA. And he just looks like a weirdo, man. Like, he has a green tone to him the entire time.
He looks like a lima bean, like an eggplant.
He looks like a zucchini for me, man. I don't know. It's just a weird dude. But we find out that he was a spy.
Yeah, he was a spy for the Jicro Empire. So he shoots Dr. Gel, and he's gonna harness Dandy's Pionium for himself so that he can control the universe. And so Johnny breaks in to the organization where the leader of the Gogol Empire is, and it's led by like a vice admiral or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he blasts his way up there, and he's gonna try to just kill the opposition. And then we find out that, so we haven't mentioned this either. Throughout this whole time, whenever Dr. Gel is on the phone with his boss, we see the leader of the Gogol Empire to be a skull with like flames on his head, and he looks like 100 feet tall. But then Johnny goes up there and he tries to shoot him, but they
turns out it was like a hologram.
They Wizard of Oz us.
Yeah, the whole time Wizard of Oz.
They Wizard of Oz us, and it was a projection fake empire, and it was just some regular dude in a whole suit leading this empire. Yeah.
And they explode. Something happens. He captures Johnny.
So they don't even explain it correctly, but like the universe is being torn apart, and the only person that can like fix this rip in the universe is Dandy, because he has the Pionium within himself, and he's warped, and he's not an actual being, and the fate of the universe rests on his shoulders. He has to take Dr. Gel's Statue of Liberty ship up to the rip in the dimension. He's gonna go by himself, and he's not gonna burn up or something, and then the actual god of this universe in like an otherworldly space, Madoka Magica's Dandy, and tries to be like, hey, you could be a god right now, and you can be the leader of this universe. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, he's like, what? It's like, do I get to have a body if I'm a god? And the god being thing, it's like, no, well, you can't have a body if you're a god. He's like, no, because I want to go to boobies.
Yeah. If I can't have a body and go to boobies, then what's the point in living?
And what's the point? And he's like, no, wait, no, you can't do that. And
because this universe needs a new god, or it's gonna fall apart. And it's because of Dandy's meddling, because he's tearing apart the time fabric of space.
Him rejecting the option of being a god just fucking bing bang the whole thing again.
Right. So then we looked this up. This reminds me of this is the exact plot to the Futurama episode, The Late Philip J. Fry, where Dr. Farnsworth makes a time machine that can go so far in the future it is able to prove that the universe just keeps remaking itself in the exact same way.
Yeah, but like I think a detail in the episode is like that it's like 3 foot higher universe.
Yeah.
When they turn back around, they end up killing their paradoxes because they end up like appearing.
That's in the Futurama episode.
Yeah, that's in the Futurama episode.
So in Space Dandy, Dandy rejects being a god. He accepts his humanity, and then it just says 16.8 billion years later. And it's Dandy
flying through space.
Just flying through space like nothing ever happened, and that's the end of the episode. That's the end of the whole series.
That's the end of the series, yeah. And it was, I mean, shit. Like I said, I like Futurama. I like kind of little weird shit like that.
I like Rick and Morty.
I like Rick and Morty. It was good. It's entertaining.
I think Space Dandy's interesting because I had not considered the similarities between Futurama and Rick and Morty, even though they're basically the same thing. They're like sitcom cartoons in space with sci-fi elements. Mm-hmm. But it took Space Dandy for me to realize, like as a medium, like how those other works are related through Space Dandy.
Correct. Yeah. And I thought it was good, man. I thought if I had to rate this three 3 works by Watanabe, I would put Space Dandy on top.
Really?
To tell you the truth,
I like Shampoo a lot.
As far as something that caught my attention and it had no fucking plot to it, it got me. It got me there. I mean,
again, I am so tired of watching things without a plot. Like
I am too. We said, we've been watching Hunter x Hunter, and that's been nice.
In watching Hunter x Hunter, I forgot how corny like it is, but like it's intentionally corny because it's always like Gon being like such a good, perfect person is like where all his character development comes from.
Okay.
And I guess we'll just let this be the start of the nerd down since we're starting to talk about future episodes. Since we're talking about Hunter x Hunter, and I forgot that the writing in Hunter x Hunter from the very beginning is trying to tell you that this is going to be smarter than your regular shonen.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this isn't Dragon Ball. Like what's the very first plot that like he has to solve like quizzes and like really tricky narrative riddles and stuff like that.
Yeah, I like it. Like you said, I miss watching something with like some sort of plot to it.
Right.
And it's nice just to see the character development. What I was reading is that this anime, I haven't watched Hunter x Hunter. This is my first time watching it, and I'm really liking it. And what I read from it is that it has one of the best like character development going on.
Oh,
like,
Gon's crazy.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's nice to see this kid, and it could look maybe a little bit Dragon Ballish, but it's not.
It's the early characters, especially Gon. Like I see exactly what you mean. Like he's got black spiky hair. It looks like fucking Goku. But Hunter x Hunter is important because it doesn't even. It's not even a unique hero story journey, because the hero story is what, like a young kid leaves town to go have an adventure and he makes his way back after becoming an adult, right? That is verbatim what Hunter x Hunter is about. It's about Gon leaving his small island fishing town, be like learning something about the real world, becoming more mature, becoming an adult, and then like taking what he's learned and applying it as an adult, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, up to now, I've seen all the way probably to like episode 10.
What's going on in episode 10?
So episode 10, they just finished the fog trial.
Oh, so
they just went up the stairs. They just got out of the tunnel, and they're going through the fogs that like trick people.
So you've seen Ahsoka, the clown?
Yes.
He's crazy. That's probably one of my favorite shonen villains. Like he gets super wild by the end of it.
He looks pretty crazy. I always saw memes of him and stuff like that. I never knew where he was from.
Well, because he's some creepy pedophile clown. Like he's like obsessed with Gon, who's like 12 years old or something like that.
He looks weird.
But I think Hunter x Hunter is interesting because I was telling you that the manga's still not completed. Mr. Yoshihiro Tagashi, he's sick. When I tried looking up his actual like disease, I don't know how accurate this is, but the information I did find tried making it seem like it's the workload of the manga industry that has like torn him down, because he also wrote Yu Yu Hakusho in the 90s, and he's had several like really popular works, and it's almost like that exhaustion, how it can physically start harming you. It's almost like after a few decades of that just like piling on to him, it's really deteriorated his health, which is why like physically he can't write the manga anymore. Like he can't draw it anymore. And especially like you see panels like from the most recent manga publishings, he's not drawing a lot of background anymore. It's a lot of just like, it almost looks like a novel, because it's just like brief animations with a lot of wording.
Okay.
But he is sick because he's married to the mangaist that wrote Sailor Moon.
You told me that she was kind of getting a little bit kind of thought from...
Right, so Miss Naoko Takuchi, they're married. She wrote Sailor Moon. She's obviously, everyone knows who Sailor Moon is. She's famous and successful in her own right.
And they're getting a new movie?
What, Sailor Moon?
Sailor Moon?
Oh, something like that.
I heard something like that.
Yeah, you're right. But what's really sad about their relationship is that Togashi, since his health is on the decline, he might die before finishing Hunter x Hunter. So she, being the successful manga artist that she is as well, she's trying to learn to emulate his art style so that she can finish Hunter x Hunter on his behalf.
So don't be hard on her, nerds.
If it ever happens. I don't know. It might be, I don't know. Like, I've been waiting for book 6 of Game of Thrones for who knows how long. Like, the last one came out like 8 years ago or something like that.
Yeah. And like I said, it sucks. It sucks that he's in that condition. From what I heard of Hunter x Hunter, it's an amazing anime. Obviously, manga, that panels of mangas are always super intense.
We're only watching season 1, which is the Hunter exam, for next week to talk about. And I'm a little sad about that, which I was telling Aldo, because they don't even explain the power system until season 2.
Yeah, that's what me and V we're confused by how it worked, because you can see a little glimpses over here and there. Like, for example, what's the name of the guy with the eyes?
I don't remember.
Oh man, Gone, and I can't remember the other guy. But yeah, like, you can see he has some powers. The guy in the suit, what's his name? The other
they don't even know about the power system yet.
Yeah.
And like, they're all regular human beings, but they just seem as stronger for some reason. They're more
like
resilient
humans. Yeah,
they can't get hurt as easily. They have superhuman strength, but they don't it's like watching the Hunter exam of Hunter x Hunter is like watching parts 1 and 2 of JoJo's when they're just fighting with punches and fucking hamon. It's like watching pre-Stan JoJo's.
Yeah.
So then, like, JoJo's being the power mechanic, Stan's being the power mechanic in JoJo's that actually explains how they fight. We don't learn about Nen, N-E-N, until season 2.
Mm-hmm. And
it'll be a good discussion, though. I'm excited.
Yeah, we'll save that for the next episode. We'll stop talking about it. Again, guys, please follow us on Twitter, Between Nerds. Use the hashtag. Like we said at the beginning of the episode, we've gotten a lot
Nerds
more.
for Justice.
We're getting a lot more usage of the hashtags Nerds for Justice, which again it will put you in our giveaway. You know. And
the more traction the hashtag gets, the more we will donate for the NAACP Legal Defense Fund.
Which takes care of what, Drew?
So it's the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, and the Legal Defense Fund is meant to help, like, people that might have been unlawfully arrested from civil rights demonstrations, and it helps civil rights activists with legal charges and stuff like that.
And they do much more, but currently, you know, what's going on in the world right now. Not in the world, because it's just happening in the U.S. Well, no, it's happening.
There's demonstrations everywhere,
actually,
bro.
Yeah, it's going on around the world. And yeah, just please help us help our community. We also we're working on getting Lloyd back. We're actually just figured out how we're gonna record, so he'll be probably next episode. He'll be here.
Yeah, we'll just get the technical glitches. Like
we can't. We're trying not to lose, you know, sound production or sound quality.
Yeah, we don't want to lose production quality.
Yeah, but we're kind of working on getting, you know, better equipment. We know we sound kind of rough, but thank you for following.
And I guess, I don't know, what else is there? What do you want to talk about?
I don't know.
We need to figure out what we're gonna watch the week after Hunter x Hunter.
You were thinking Dragon Ball movies.
And see, that's what I mean. I keep having these thoughts. It's like, do we watch the 3 Dragon Ball Super movies, which is Battle of the Gods, Resurrection F, and the Broly one?
Mm-hmm. Good movies.
Do we watch at least the first season, maybe 2 seasons, of Mob Psycho 100?
We have a lot of things we can talk about, but tell us what you...
Do we add that as a poll? Do we put this episode out, wait for suggestions, put up a poll on like Wednesday that lasts until like Saturday, and just see what exactly people want us to put on the poll?
Cool. Yeah, we'll do that. And what else do we need to talk about?
I guess that's it. Shout out to Lloyd Parker Jr.
Shout out to Lloyd.
We can't wait to have him back.
He starts work tomorrow.
Oh yeah. He's scared. He's in Round Rock all by himself.
Oh no!
The loneliness is gonna set in.
But hey, good luck, Lloyd. Thank you guys for listening. Please subscribe.
Rate us, please. 5. The text comments on like Apple Podcasts help a lot too.
Yeah.
Like the written comments help a lot. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because you can just rate without leaving a written review, but it's the written reviews that do help a lot.
Yeah, those we've gotten a couple of good ones that help us out. Thank you, Jacob, for listening to the podcast. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, nerds.
Thank you, nerds. We're out. We'll see you guys next week.
This has been Between Nerds.